Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and the new seeds are working great. All the bald patches are all growing in. Um, some of them just uncontested, and some of them, geez, this one patch, the weeds who have ruled there for years are basically like, this shall not pass. Like they are. It is just so crazy. A weed that is several inches tall, with multiple branches and an extensive root system, can grow in a day. Meanwhile, this grass I planted like 2 weeks ago, like it's coming through, but it's so weak and thin. I feel like there's an analogy there. But anyway, I saw the finale of season 2 of Peacemaker. Although, technically, maybe I saw it last week because this was interesting. Let's just say interesting. In that the final episode of the show was really more of a coda or an epilogue. Well, I think codas are stories, epilogues are like little commentaries. So it's it's almost like a DVD extra. Honestly, 5 extra minutes of the last episode could have been the finale of the show. Um, but so I saw a bunch of reviews by the usual shitheads, and they always say like don't broad brush people. And in some ways, it's true because they're all shitheads in like completely different ways. Now, some of them are just severely autistic and copying what other people said. Some of them have zero media literacy. Some of them are malicious assholes. And some of them are all three of those things mixed together in different proportions. But the shit I heard about this episode and then watching it, I can see where everything grew. Like I've said before, lies usually don't come from nothing. They usually are exaggerations or, um, uh, how do you say it? Diminutions? Diminishing something that actually happened. So they didn't say like, Peacemaker rode a herd of elephants through city center. They don't say something that completely didn't happen. They just give the worst, most malicious, or the most autistic take on something that nobody else watches it like that. Nobody else watches something in order to hate it, in order to miscategorize it, in order to maliciously misinterpret what's happening. So basically what happens is Chris is in jail. He could get bailed out. He doesn't want to be because he basically thinks that he's cursed because all this death follows him and he's always killing or causing the deaths of his families in multiple dimensions. And other characters are dealing with the repercussions of all of the other episodes in the season. Like it's almost comical how vicious and malicious these right-wing. Actually, I mean, even calling them right-wing, half of these people aren't even right-wing. I mean, first of all, half of these people are freaking Brits, which their political system is completely different than ours. So there's not like an exact analogy to Democrat and Republican. But some of these people are just like straight up like hippies, just pretend, oh, those damn libtards. It's like, okay, buddy, settle down. But I have one particularly aggressive mosquito chasing me around. So, yeah, all the things they say aren't true. Certainly not in the way they say it. First of all, they've run with this narrative, this propaganda that season 2 had horrible ratings when they're just basing that solely off of not being in the top 10. There's like 500 shows out there that are in the category that they would get tracked. And it's not like it's down at 400. I think it's at like 14 or 16. So, first of all, the idea that something is a flop because it's not in the top 10 is absolutely ridiculous. And as I say all the time, the most mediocre men who ever existed hold everyone else to the highest expectations imaginable. So first of all, the ratings thing is ridiculous. The ratings thing is just, it's oh, it's flop, 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 flop. And then you actually read the article, and it's just not in the top 10. That's it. Beaten by anime is like, okay, what is that? What does that even mean? Does something need to be the number one show in the world to not be considered a flop? I actually didn't finish season one. I think I had like 2.5 episodes left because season one was just kind of like, wouldn't it be funny if a superhero cursed? Not really. No, it's funny. He curses. No, it's not funny. I don't know. It's not funny. So the second one actually had real depth. And I saw something with James Gunn, and he says the inspiration for Peacemaker is he wanted to write about the type of person that if you just met them casually, like at a party, he would say, like, God, what a fucking asshole. And then he wanted to fully humanize the type of person he usually doesn't like. And if you watch the show, James Gunn clearly loves Peacemaker. He loves the character. He loves the world. He loves putting his wife and his friends into roles, which is, I don't know. I felt like his wife was just kind of like nothing in the first season, and now she's like the main thing. Oh, one of the things that was really interesting about the coda, or let's just say the final episode of the season, I wouldn't really call it the finale, is the whole time they were referencing something, and I thought it was something from season one. I was like, oh, I just missed that. Apparently it wasn't. So it seemed to be referencing like that they slept together, and he was like, okay, what does that make us? But it turns out they just had a very kind of sweet romantic date. And so this episode was flashing back to something we actually hadn't seen before and showing all the different aspects of that. So it was very kind of just nice and human. And you're never going to hear anything like that. I'm currently finishing Ahsoka season 1, and it's good. It's really not an Ahsoka show. It's just the final season of Rebels. Or I guess not the final, because they're making another one. Falcon and Winter Soldier, good too. So if you're listening to these malicious imbeciles, assholes, and autists, you're going to miss out on some really, really good stuff. And then the other one is, even like last episode was a fucking masterpiece. All they talked about was literally a 17-second clip where Adebayo was basically making just a point about the two different worlds. And it was especially malicious to act like it was bad writing or woke, because the whole point of the world is you couldn't kind of tell the difference at the beginning. Which is my favorite type of alternate world. I hate when it's like, and then it's like everybody's driving candy canes to work. It's like, okay, that's not a functioning world. What are you talking about? They did have a candy world in this, but it had more of a full ecosystem. But yeah, everything they say is not true, at least not true in the way they say it. Are the ratings terrible? Well, it's not the number one show in the world. Is that your metric for things being bad? Something has to be the number one show in the world? Was it beaten by anime? I guess. What does that even mean? Basically, every show out there is beaten by anime. It's not a flop. It's not woke. It's actually quite well done. It does have indulgences. I don't think a person could pitch to write a show the way that James Gunn gives himself permission to, but that's also one of the strengths. You can just have like, oh, let's just have a whole episode flashing back to a date and, wrapping up some of the plot lines and introducing one other thing. I have to say, that guy, Frank Grillo, bro, he is somehow a good actor and a terrible actor in that he's a good actor. He's convincing. Well, no, he's convincing sometimes, but he just wants to be also like a buff guy who wears tight shirts and has a pompadour. So he's playing a general. I have never seen someone who seems less like a general. In fact, I just rewatched this movie, Amsterdam, with Christian Bale. And Robert De Niro, a lifelong, like, super liberal guy, plays a general. And he's so fucking convincing as a general. And then Frank Grillo's here, 60 with abs and tight compression shirts and his pompadour. And you're like, what the fuck are you? This is ridiculous. So, yeah, there was nothing confusing about the final episode of Peacemaker. It was good. It wasn't woke. It wasn't the worst thing ever. I mean, these people, And some of these people are just pieces of shit. Like, you can go through all these, tap dances. Nerdrotic is just a piece of shit. Like, he's literally a piece of shit. So if you listen to him, you're like, oh, I wonder what a piece of shit thinks about this. Well, he's going to say it's terrible and woke and try to get you to watch a 5-hour live stream where a bunch of incels, they are really trying to bring back Girl Boss. And Girl Boss now is literally just any woman doing anything. It doesn't have to be any. Jesus. Some huge flying bug just came. It looked like it was from the Cretaceous period. That thing was huge. But yeah, and then another thing, and again, I don't want to be like super rude about this, but I don't think a severely autistic person is good to be a critic, because they're just going to miss a bunch of things unless you are reviewing it for other autistic people. That show, Steven Universe, always used to drive me nuts. I didn't like the art style, but mainly it was where you would see little clips online, and it was a show by autistic people for autistic people. So the characters would be like named after an emotion. They would overact an emotion. Then they would say what emotion they were having, and then they would sing about the emotion. And the whole point is, we have an audience of people who are not good at differentiating emotions. So let's, we have to really exaggerate the differences between different emotions. And that's, again, if you want to just have a channel just like, hi, I'm severely autistic. Can't you tell from my eyes? And then you just review it for other severely autistic people. But for a general audience, it's a disability, no pun intended, for the critic to be severely autistic, especially if they're just copying a bunch of talking points from 2018. But anyway, good show. Peacemaker Season 2, good show. Ahsoka Season 1, good show. Falcon Winter Soldier, good miniseries. You're missing out on so many things because you're listening to incels, autists, and complete assholes. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.